Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this Monday morning. Got a big show lined up, some special guests here. But first, as always, we're going to take a look at our weather. Brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning, Drew Pollard, and hard-working crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs. Pretty comfortable. High 69, low of 52. A slight chance of rain. We're going to, it looks like a good week overall, though. We'll talk about it later. Now, all important temperature at the end of the pier, brought to us by Allco Electric out of Lynn Haven. They're calling it was 66 degrees, so I'm expecting it to bust out this week, hit 68, and I expect the Spanish to be jumping in the boat by Thursday or Friday, but that remains to be seen. Our Monday moon forecast brought to us by the good folks down at Panama City, Coca-Cola. We are actually in waning crescent tonight and the next couple of nights, and we're going to start getting a new moon coming in toward the end of the week. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Good strong tides. Low tide this morning at 4:43 and a high at 6:21 this evening. And our March wind has been blowing every day. It'll be coming out of the southwest today at about 10 to 15, or not quite as strong. It's been up there around 20. So we'll have a good day with our weather. Let's take a break. We'll be back with our special guest. Okay, welcome back, and look who's here, our Coast Guard friends, and we're always glad to have, Public Information Officer for the Coast Guard Auxiliary, Jay Combs. Welcome back.
Thanks for having us. We certainly appreciate it, Coach. It's always a pleasure being here with you.
All right, Petty Officer McManus. Okay, and you're stationed out there now.
Yep, stationed over here at the Navy base.
And you're originally from?
Orlando.
And I asked you earlier, what made you decide on the Coast Guard?
Grew up in Pensacola, moved to Orlando, and I've always just enjoyed it.
Been around the water.
Yeah,
that's great. Well, we always talk about around the water. Always trying to be safe, and I know y'all do so many good things. So what's going on with the flotilla?
I'm certainly glad you asked that. The flotilla is sponsoring a safe boating class on March 29th. That's this coming Saturday at the fire station at the corner of Back Beach Road and Nautilus. And the class is $30. It'll take basically 6 hours to complete, and it'll cover the basics. Let me just briefly review some of the topics for you. Obviously, it includes a intro to boating, and we'll cover some specific boating laws, something you certainly will need a good, strong command of here in the Bay County area. Safety equipment, which has changed, and requirements for it has changed a little bit over the past couple of years. Safe operation and navigation of your boat, it doesn't get more important than that, along with a myriad of other topics, as well as entertaining questions from the class on their specifics that they may anticipate running into. At the completion of the class, you'll receive a certificate, and along with that, a card showing that you have completed a approved safety class.
That's a certificate. That's nice, but an all-important card. Man, you can flash that out when you get checked, and that's going to be impressive. All right. Okay, so it's going to be this Saturday, and you're talking about you'll have some entertaining questions from your guests. I guess every time y'all get some entertaining questions from them.
It never fails that somebody will come up with a question that we'll need to conference on. The group of us they're teaching will need to conference on, because it'll end up being a situation that comes up on an infrequent basis. Bay County specifically, as well as the Gulf in general, has the ability to present a lot of complex boating situations. And so it's important that you're prepared to deal with that when it comes up.
You know, I would tell my students always, you know, we live in Bay County. It's not Pine Tree County, it's Bay County, and they named that for a reason, because we have so much water, and the fresh water, you know, coming into the salt water and y'all along the coast and all. Every year y'all see something dangerous, don't you, as a Coast Guard person?
Pretty much, yep. Every year, it's picking up. Just like yesterday, someone dislocated his knee at Shell Island, so we had to go help him out.
Yep, it's amazing. I guess you could just list all the things unusual, unexpected.
Yeah.
And that's when people get in trouble. They're not prepared. Have you seen that over the years?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's unfortunate the percentage of boaters that are out there that are operating a boat that have not had a safe boating class. Now we're gradually cutting into that percentage, but right now it's still way too high. And the best way to have a safe boat operating public is through education.
Yeah, and the big thing now, you know, we all grew up around the boats. We know all this, we know all that. Well, maybe we did, but here's what we have now that we didn't have back then growing up: the number of boats on the water, the vast number of boats that are out here now. And all of us, you know, we need to have safe boating just drilled in us. And we know I taught it in a class, and all our students, we did a week-long class on it. And this is so good. You can do it in one day here. This is awesome.
It's I would make the pun that's a little bit of a drink of water from a fire hose, seeing how the class is held at the fire department. But the truth of the matter is, it's given at a pace that will keep you from being bored. You're guaranteed not to be bored, but we don't think that we are going to run you over with information. We think that it provides the students the information and a good pace, and still allows the opportunity for good, lively interaction from those taking the class. The class is meant to be fun.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to find enjoyment in it, and it's taught by individuals from the local Panama City Beach Coast Guard Auxiliary Flotilla that have tremendous background in boating safety, and so you're getting the benefit of their knowledge, as opposed to simply something that you read in a booklet or brochure.
Exactly. Real life situations. They've been there, done that. Okay, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Okay, here with Jay Combs, Auxiliary Commander, Public Information Officer, and also Petty Officer of McManus. I get all these titles. How do y'all keep up all your titles? I mean, it's part of it. Real quick, we're going to jump away from the water, and because we were talking about before the show started, you're originally from Michigan. This is a hunting story, and we're going to do it in 2 minutes, but then we're going to get back to vessel inspection and all that. But this is a good story.
Well, it's in regards to the decline of interest of deer hunting in the state of Michigan, and specifically around youth. The number of individuals purchasing deer hunting license in Michigan is in decline. And
okay, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
If you know anybody from Michigan, I know I've met a lot of folks from Michigan, been up there. They love the outdoors and they love hunting, especially the upper part. And when you told me that it's in decline, what is the statistics you have? It's amazing.
The last numbers I saw, the Department of Natural Resources estimated that the number of gun licenses being sold by the year 2030 may be down as low as 450,000. And for reference, as short as 20 years ago, they were selling upwards of 750,000 gun licenses.
Wow.
So we're talking about a fairly sharp decline.
And you say just the interest is not there with the young people?
The youth do not seem to be nearly as inspired in the tradition as they were, again, just maybe 20 short years ago.
Okay. We need to send a group up there to get outdoor education in the classes and in the schools and all, to get them fired back up. Because I was really surprised to hear that. Now, we've got to get back to the water. Okay. Tell us while you do vessel inspections, tell us about what all some of the things you do.
So our primary goal is just public safety. When we come along, we're not here, you didn't do anything wrong. It's just to check that, make sure that you have your life jackets, that you required a Type 4 throwable, it's a square cushion. Or it could be a life ring as long as it's labeled that it's a Coast Guard approved device and has its approval number. Then we go right into the sizes of vessels. So under 26, I believe it's you need 1 fire extinguisher. Over 26, you need 2 fire extinguishers or 1 20B fire extinguisher. So it gets up into a mess. I know people, you know, they come to Panama City, they see all these nice boats, they want a boat, but they don't take a boating class and they get out there and they're like, well, I have 1 fire extinguisher. And it makes it bad on us. We're like, we're really sorry, we gotta escort you back to make sure you get another one. Usually we'll take you back to like a marina. San Andrews Marina is perfect. Yeah. Perfect one for us. We'll go there. They usually have fire extinguishers. We're like, just go buy one. You know, you're all good to go. After that, we're looking for a sound producing device. Needs to make sound, so obviously whistles, air horn, or a horn on your vessel. Don't always trust the horn on your vessel, because I know a lot of people that like, I bought this yesterday, and then they go to test the horn and it doesn't work. Oh yeah. So I always recommend just buy a whistle, keep it on the keychain, key fob, and then it's after that. That's pretty much it. Make sure you have your registration on board. That's a requirement. Just like like you're driving your car, you need to have your registration.
What do you find most? I want to say when you get out there and check all the boats, most of them are doing okay, I'm sure. But what's the 1 or 2 of the top things you find a problem with?
Fire extinguishers. 100% is your fire extinguishers. We find, in my opinion, the most amount of problems. It's going to be your condition of the fire extinguisher. Right. A lot of people are like, I've had this fire extinguisher for 20 years, and they look at it and it's all rusted and the gauge is in the red. So fire extinguishers are good for 12 years from the manufacturer date, so make sure it's good, but it also goes into the condition of it. If we pull your fire extinguisher and you got it in 2022, but you pick it up and the handle falls off, like, that's not good to go.
Ironically, I just changed mine out last week, but you know, it's got that little gauge there, red and green, you know, it's pretty easy to read, but like I say, that's important. What have you seen over the years in your inspections?
When we're doing the vessel safety check, which is a courtesy check, ours from an auxiliary standpoint can be slightly different than the active duty Coast Guard. We don't serve any law enforcement function. What we're doing is trying to provide information to the recreational boater to help keep them safe and to make sure that they have the safety equipment on board that's going to make their pleasure on the water safe and sound. I see a fair number of problems with light bulbs in the running lights, the bow light and the stern light, and that's due to the harsh Florida elements here that even though there's a cover over top of the lamp, that salt air environment has a way of getting into the socket and getting to the bulb. And if you're not someone that frequently uses your boat at night, maybe it's something you don't check very often, but all of a sudden you want to do some night boating, and you go to turn the switch on and you find that you got a problem. And that's one of the most common for us, is a problem with that light sockets.
That makes a lot of sense with the elements we're in, the salt water splashing over and all, and especially we're going on the next segment. We're going to talk about some different things and all. But did you get a chance on the splashdown last week? Were y'all called? Did you get a chance to go to splashdown?
No, unfortunately we weren't called. We usually are, but not for this one.
They probably had a really big dog probably, didn't they? How did they get them back to land? They just brought them my boat. I was thinking, you know, showed them coming out of the capsule and all. What was the next step that we didn't see? You know,
I'm not familiar with exactly how they're brought back.
Helicopter them out, you think?
It's a function of a Coast Guard cutter or a Navy boat. I'm not really familiar with it, although I know in the past the Coast Guard has been called in to assist with the splashdown
Yeah.
in this area.
The technology you're talking about, amazing, and for them to splash down like that, it was just truly amazing watching it. Y'all not old enough to remember man walking on the moon, but I remember seeing that for the first time. I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. Okay, we're going to take our final break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a quick look at our fishing game time today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. 7:43 to 9:43 this morning, so right after the show, go fishing tonight, 8:10 to 10:10. Okay, now, we've got all kinds. Let's go back over, one more time on what we're going to get. Okay, here's coming up this Saturday. All right, Jay, go ahead.
Again, as Coach has already provided you, you can find on the flyer, and there's the content of what's going to be taught in the class, and you'll also find my email address coming onto the screen there in the bottom right corner there. If you're interested in taking the class, you need to contact me at that email address at your earliest convenience. The cost is $30, and it's payable by check or cash. We haven't caught up yet with all the world's technology for taking other methods of payment.
Here's the boat you'll have. The boat right here. You won't get that boat, but you'll be talking about boats like this, all sizes of boats. And then here's your certificate you can get, and of course that all-important card. So, plus lunch is provided, or
lunch will be provided.
All right.
Lunch will be provided, and I guarantee there'll be stories provided as well in between the breaks.
I may come out there for lunch to see everybody. We'll see what we can do. Okay.
Well, we're hoping that you might grace us with your presence there, and certainly that could also end up being another reason that you might like to attend.
Well, I really am going to try to make it out there. I really am. So, we talk about boating all the time, year round, and the safety of it and all. And it gets at times it gets personal real quick. Last week, my grandson Mason, y'all know, he's at Ole Miss, and spring break, and one of his close friends' cousin, who was a student at Ole Miss, 19 years old, had a boating accident and drowned. And so it gets personal. I know you've had experiences.
Yeah, I have lost an uncle from here in Bay County in a boating accident in 1995 out at Howard's Creek, where he was thrown from a vessel, that his fishing boat that struck a log on his way back in. He got thrown from the boat. It was a little 15-foot fiberglass boat, stick steering, and this was before the kill switch, so he didn't have a lanyard to kill it. And we all know what happens with a boat once the operator gets ejected from the boat. It tends to circle right in place, and it circled around, and he was caught by the prop. Unfortunately, it's very sad. He was a avid fisherman and a very knowledgeable about the sloughs and channels off Howard's Creek, and very comfortable with operating in the area. But it again, as you point out many times, it goes to show that even the greatest amount of knowledge doesn't prevent accidents from happening. Having a cautious outlook with the proper operating procedure is what stops accidents from happening.
And I know, and you see this a lot. One of the biggest things now, I think, that we have more of is really the alcohol and the boating. We're seeing like a place like over in Shawcatcher Bay at that island there by the bridge, and people are drinking and partying and then getting on a boat. And that's just something that we need to be aware of. I know y'all are very aware of it.
Yep, very aware of boating under the influence. It's a zero tolerance. If myself or another boarding officer finds you, like zero tolerance, just a lot of things that we've seen, a lot of accidents that have come from people being intoxicated while boating. You will be ran through field sobriety tests, and if everything hits, we're going to call FWC, and unfortunately you'll probably be arrested. So don't do that to yourself. Enjoy your time out there.
I'm so glad y'all are really strong about this. FWC is really tightened down on it. This is so important for the sake of all of us out there. Okay, we've got about a minute or two. What do you have in closing there, Jay? I want to recommend it. I want to highly recommend. I don't care what age you are, what experience you have. Go spend this Saturday, and you still. I guarantee you, I'll go up there and learn something myself.
I would like to take just the opportunity to thank yourself for your continued support in the cause of safe boating and boating education, and we heartily thank you for continuing to carry the flag for us and promote the cause.
Well, you're quite welcome, and it's like you have to have a license to drive a car. We never could figure out why you to have a license to drive a boat, but now it's getting better and better. We're getting educated more and more on it, so young people are learning more about it. Real quick, we got to remind people that you worked for Red Holland. Okay, so this TV is nothing new for you. So you got Channel 7, you were able to work with Red.
That's correct.
That was an exciting time.
I was considered Red Holland's northern correspondent. I shot and edited some segments for Red at Channel 7 when his program was still airing there. And even in retirement, I got the opportunity to fish with him some, and I miss him every day.
Okay, that's awesome. And good luck to you, Officer McManus. What's your plans for the future?
Keep going one day at a time.
There you go.
Not really too sure, but enjoying it while it's here. Enjoying
the water.
One last question. Can I pin you down on what's your choice? You can only have one. You want for the Spanish, you want a gotcha or you want Clark spoon? What is it? If you only have one or the other?
I'd get a gotcha if I'm fishing from the pier. And we're going to talk more about that on different colors, because we've ran tests before. We talked about the colors at different times of the day. We got right out of time. Thank y'all for coming on. Good to see you. Good to see you again. Y'all do something good for someone else. Have a great day. Enjoy the outdoors. Take care of it, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.